Rugs are woven on looms of various sizes, the width of the loom dictating the width of the rug. Despite the simplistic, antiquated look, the frame is robust enough to support the warp and weft strings of varying tension for the entire time the rug is secured to the loom. Preparation requires a great deal of precision and patience, as literally thousands of warp strings must be painstakingly placed in position. Together with the weft strings, the warp strings form the physical foundation or skeletal structure of the forthcoming rug. Cotton is the fibre of choice for the backing of the rug due to its uniform shrinkage when washed. Traditional weaving techniques have been traced back almost 3,000 years. The type of knots used relate directly to a specific region or ethnic group, the obvious examples being a Persian knot or a Turkish knot. Interpretation or translation of the design from the Naksha also varies from place to place. In Jaipur, the capital of Rajasthan, for example, it is typical for the master weaver at the loom to chant out rhythmically the specific colour to be woven at a precise moment. Harmonious sound and motion create a spiritual reverence akin to a religious ceremony. The apparent effortless way in which the knots are formed is deceiving to the untrained eye. Knots are tied individually by hand around two warp threads, followed by a flick of the hook knife to separate the trailing yarn. Despite appearances to the contrary, the forming of the knots is not arbitrary. The action is precise and exact. A practiced, skilled master weaver can tie upwards of 30 knots per minute, although accuracy rather than pace is the ultimate objective. When seen in slow motion, it is easy to see why the formation of a single knot requires dexterity and concentration. However, because nimble fingers repeat the action correctly thousands of times, it is as much about feel as it is sight as the procedure becomes second nature. Tying the knot to the rug's foundation is what differentiates handmade carpets from any other type of rug. Machine-made rugs merely pass the thread through or glue it to the base. Moreover, they are handmade for reasons of necessity as much as aesthetics. This may also explain the durability and longevity enjoyed by a hand-knotted rug, the pile remaining intact until the foundation becomes worn through. Man, in all his wisdom, has yet to invent a machine that is able to tie a knot on a rug. Between every row of knots, a weft string, usually made of either cotton or wool, is horizontally threaded through alternate warp strings. Although its primary purpose is to keep the knots in place, the packing down of the knots, row after row, actually forms the direction of the pile. On a vertical loom, the pile always faces downwards. The essential design of the carpet is carried in the pile. After several rows have been completed, the excess wool is trimmed off and the creative cycle begins again. Large quality rugs often take considerable time to produce. A 9x12 may take 4 weavers up to a year to complete. Flat weave rugs differentiate themselves by being woven on horizontal looms using a simpler knotting technique. The flat weave is notable for its lower knot count, broad patterns and rougher texture. With universal appeal and an increase in popularity, flat weaves provide a viable and economical alternative to hand-knotted pile rugs.
Gire, 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 gire.